Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's your man Roy here with another Marvel Contest of Champions champion overview. Similar to what we've done in the past, we're going to split this video up into two parts. Part one will be looking at how we battle the particular champion in question, and part two will look at how we can effectively use the champion to our own benefits. Today we're going to look at the dreaded Groot. It's a bane of all players out there when you're spinning that crystal and you get a Groot, whether it's 4, 5 or potentially even 6 star. There's a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach when it finally lands on that smiley face. But what we're going to look at is how we can effectively battle him in this part 1 video, and with part 2 video looking at the attributes that he has that makes him a relatively underrated attacker. A lot of people tend to not like him out from an attacking point of view because of his unreliability in the ability trigger. But he is a pain to fight, and we're going to look at this video as to why that's the case and some effective strategies that we can use to finally get one up on this living tree. So we're going to have a look, in this, the same as the last video that we've done on Finn, we're going to have a look at the 6-star version of this champion. Now when we look at him, it doesn't look anything spectacular. For a 6-star awakened, he's just under the 13,000 rating, which is a relatively on the low side. But loots can be deceiving. This can be a particularly annoying champion when we're looking at his attributes. And the main reason for that is that he shrugs off these debuffs, any debuffs, a lot quicker than some other champions out there. So when we're looking at the parry mastery, when we're trying stunning, if we're looking at champions that the pros bring up, such as Blade, he's gonna shrug these debuffs off a lot quicker than your regular champion. So it's important to bear that in mind if you are facing a Groot, that we are in for a protracted battle. Okay, so similar to what we've done last time, we're going to look at the standard abilities first, and then we'll go and look at the awakening abilities. We'll do a battle against them to see what we're up against in terms of the abilities that we discuss. And then, as I said at the start of the video, the part 2 video will look at how we can use him as an effective attacker. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but with the debuff shrug off quicker, and also the fact that he's bleed immune, he can use an okay attacker if we're going through some of the other quests. Okay, so the first ability we've got here is it's when he's struck by critical hits. So against champions such as Corvus or Aegon, when he's powered up, this gives him the best chance to trigger these abilities. But the gentle nature is put to test. Again, if you've seen the films, he can be gentle or he can be a right badass. But any time a critical hit for this champion is hit, or when an enemy uses a special attack against him, he gains a 100% chance to gain a pacifism charge. I can never say that damned word. He gains the charge, and each time a charge is gained, he gets a 10% chance per charge to throw off the gentle nature. So the longer protracted battle that we've got, if we're getting struck by critical hits, or if we're baiting out special attacks, for each special there's a 100% chance to gain another charge, but for each charge we've got a 10% chance to shrug off the gentle nature. And as we see below, when he throws this gentle nature off, he gains 1 fury and 1 cruelty effect for each charge that he has, and each charge increases attack by an amount for 10 seconds. So in the longer battle, the more charges that we've got built up, either from baiting out those specials or if we're hit by a critical charge, then we're going to increase the damage for a 10-second period. Now each cruelty effect also increases the critical damage rating by an amount as well. So not only are we getting more damage per critical hit, but each Fury buff is going to increase the amount of damage that we do. So in a protracted battle, the more charges, this champion actually has a lot higher damage output than is standard. As we've mentioned, the main thing about Groot is his ability to shrug off debuffs. So he's going to throw these off 55% faster than normal, and he has a fuel immunity to bleeding. So he's not going to get the bleed debuffs if we're going up against Blade, if we're going into that well-timed block, but also any node buffs where there's a debuff, so such as your inflict poison. He's not going to be affected by this for as long as other champions, and this is one of the main reasons why he's so difficult to face. Your champions that rely on debuffs, your Winter Soldiers, any other champion that has these debuffs, they're not going to affect them. So we're going to then launch into special attacks. So special attack 1 has 85% piercing of the target's armor. So against champions that have armor stacks such as your War Machines, you know, when it gets down to that percentage where it activates all those armors, Groot's actually going to penetrate that armor fairly effectively. And if we can time it well on the launch of a special attack, if we've got that Fury and Cruelty buff along with that Pierce armor, then it can result in some fairly hefty damage. Special Attack 2 has a regen effect. Now, it's not the most spectacular regen effect in the world. On the 6-star, it's got 6,378 out of a potential health pool of just over the 45,000 mark. So the health regen works out a maximum to be about 7.5%. So it's not that much, but in a pinch, if we're battling somebody, or if we've got some of these nodes where there is consistent damage being taken off of us, then that 7.5% can actually be the deciding factor between winning a match and not winning a match. Now, it might be when we're only winning the match with 2% left, but I'd rather win a match with 2% left than not winning it at all. So it's not the best, but any regen is better than a kick in the teeth. The best thing about the Special Attack 2 is that attack is unblockable. So it's not unavoidable, as we've hopefully seen in some of the later videos, that you can dodge the attack if you can get your timing right, but normally your AI enemies are not going to be able to dodge it if you're using it as an attacker, and it can be useful to break up a combo champion such as Star-Lord. If we're up against anyone with a combo feature, then it can be useful to break that attack up effectively. Then Special Attack 3 is a 100% chance to inflict bleed. It's not the most severe bleed effect, but anything's better than nothing. 2,700 direct damage over 3 seconds for the 6-star Groot. Almost any Groot that you're going to bring in yourself as an attacker is going to be less, but it is useful to be aware of if you're going up against Groot and we don't get the specials baited, or if you're in a battle using the all or nothing buff, where they're more likely or extremely more likely to activate Special Attack 3, then it's an idea that we bring in a bleed immune champion against them, because that's then going to minimise the damage. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to now go into a battle against Groot, and we are going to use someone that does rely relatively a lot on his debuffs. Now, I tend to like using my Winter Soldier for this one. Again, we will look at Winter Soldier in a later video. His unpredictability of his abilities does call into question, but you see now when we're battling him, we're putting that parry mastery to effect, and he's utilising that debuff for the shrug. So unless I was up against Groot using a degen for 6 seconds or anything like that, I would never really tend to try and fight against Groot's shrug off of the parry mastery. I just let him strike into my block because his attacks don't tend to hurt too much. But you see there, we launched the critical attack against him, and he shrugged it off, so he's got 5 Furies and 5 Cruelties, we don't want to get hit by them. So really the tactic against Groot is just to bait out his special one, or bait out the heavy attacks so we can get inside that attack and do the damage. But I would never really try and see, we've just tried to strike in against the parry mastery and we've not got any time at all to really attack against him. Now what we didn't look at was his awakened ability. So once he's awakened, he starts the fight with 2 pacifism charges. Again, can't say that damned word. But also for each charge that's dispelled and for each fury buff that he gets, he also has the chance to activate a resist buff, which also increases his physical damage reduction by a certain amount as well, depending on the champion. So not only does he get the ability to increase his damage, but he also reduces attack as well. And you can see that by the green indicator there, that he's gained 4 out of the possible 6 charges when he has shrugged off his gentle nature. And you see there, yeah, we got hit by that. If we're not careful, Groot can do an awful lot of damage. I'm fairly practiced using Winter Soldier. I'm fairly practiced using fighting against Groot. We are talking over this video, which has distracted me slightly, but he's still brought us down to about 50% health. And in, you know, the later acts in story mode or in Alliance Wars, that 50% health comes in very, very valuable. So we have to be cautious against Groot. It's not everyone's cup of tea trying to bait out special attacks. But as I said in the first time video, evading attacks, using the parry mastery and baiting out these specials and heavies is the bread and butter of an effective Contest of Champions fighter. So if we don't have those abilities, I really suggest that you practice at the evading and baiting. And actually Groot is a fairly effective one to practice that against, because of his ability to shrug off that stun just so much quicker. If you're going to practice, dodging and baiting, I would highly recommend you going up against Groot for doing so. Okay, now we didn't see the special attack too. It is a very hard one to get up against to make sure we've got an effective damage and special counter to go against. But have a look at some other videos out there, guys. You will see that special 2 ability for dodging. You're just looking for that animation that's going to launch for his stomping on the ground. So if you are going up against him, we'll see if we can get another video. We have got a little bit of time here, guys. So we'll go up against him again and see if we can get to the point where we can show you the special 2 animation, so that we can show you how difficult or easy it can be to bait out. So again, we're just going to let him strike in, open the defense for that heavy and go against him. So again, you just got to get timing. As we said, it's a lot easier said than done, but it's just practice. And we're not going to get it because he's launched a special one there. Right, let's see if we can get this animation sorted, guys. There we go. So you can see him start to throw his shoulders back when he's going to launch that special attack too. So that's the point where you want to dodge back. Let's see if we can do it again and see if we can get an effective dodge in there. Ah, they hit me with a heavy attack. And that heavy attack can do some serious damage, guys. You really want to avoid it if you can if you can help it. It goes without saying that you want to avoid any attack, really. But especially if he's thrown off his gentle nature, because that damage output can be quite severe. Let's see if we can get it. Nah. It's a very difficult one, guys, to plant on. Let's see if we can bait out. We might get one more attack out of him before he... How's he got that stun? Telling you, Kabam have got a lot to answer for when they're putting well-timed block stuns on the 6-star champions to allow them to parry. We didn't use the correct champion in this one either, when we've got that unpredictable power drain from Winter Soldier. But you can see the animation there, it's a very quick animation, so we have to get used to watching out for that screen blackering that's going to trigger the special attack. If we've launched an attack, or if we've dodged and he's got that special 2 ready, be prepared for it. And if you see him start to throw his shoulders back, a quick dexterity back, it is dodgeable. I have dodged it in the past, but it's a very, very difficult timing. It's not the most damage intensive attack that you're going to come across. If you do miss it, don't worry. And as I said, the regen, it's not going to be all that damaging to you unless you're against him in Alliance Wars, where he's maybe got 150% increased regen. It is going to buff that up just slightly, but as we said earlier on, it's not the most damaging regen effect out there either. There are a lot more champions with more effective healing abilities, but Groot's just a pain in the backside. Okay guys, so hopefully you liked the video, part 1. Check out part 2 for how to use him as an effective attacker, and you know the script. If you like the video, click on that like. If you want to see more videos that I put up, click on that subscribe to get the notification. And any comments that you've got about this or any other videos, drop a note into the comment section. Your feedback is always welcome, and it'll allow future videos to be tailored around about what you guys want, because that's what it's all about. So until next time guys, peace out. Hope you enjoyed the video, and check in soon for the next video. Okay, catch up soon guys. Ta now.